Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. It's Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So, today we are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville. Today we are talking Martell Holt's side chick being upset that apparently people are sending portions of her live, it sounds like, to Martell, who is then checking her in response. So let's listen to this little clip. It was weird because she kept like trying to drag it out on her live that like she had something to say and that, she had a bone to pick with people. You could hear, the baby in the background. It sounded like he was in the bathtub, but it sounded like he needed to be tended to. And, once again, Martell Holt's side chick cares more about being on Instagram Live and getting, attention and everything else. Whereas, instead of just taking care of her kids, like, I do not understand. But let's listen to this little portion and I'm going to react to it.
Okay, so let's get to the tea. You already know what I'm about to talk about. Don't address it because they don't know me. Right, but like I just feel like I have to address certain things now because y'all will literally take anything and run with it. Y'all will literally take a little clip and then nerve y'all to try to DM and try to tell on me. Like
So that was the clip from Martell Holt's side chick. And I find it her interesting choice of words saying, quote, and you're trying to tell on me. I don't know if she has not gotten the memo, but most of her followers are not actually fans of her. There's a handful that want to be side chicks like her. There's a handful of people who relate to her because they were also side chicks or whatever. Or there's people who just simply like her because they hate Mel. So they feel like liking her or, following her and, gassing her up is like somehow going to hurt Mel. But the bottom line is the bulk of the followers, they are following her because they specifically want to see what lies she's going to tell on that particular live. And it's always embarrassing and it's cringeworthy because on top of it, there's always something going on with their kids in the background. And it's like, okay, why can't you tend to your kids and then do the live or what have you? And making sure like they're content and they're stable and everything else versus trying to be on social media for clout and attention. And you specifically say on these lives now, oh, take that and run with it. Oh, I'm engaged. Oh, I'm not single and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you don't think that's going to get back to Martell? You don't think people are going to DM Martell whatever trash she's trying to talk in her lives about people and her still mentioning Mel even though she's not supposed to be, her still mentioning the cast even though apparently it looks like somebody put a muzzle on her to stop addressing that as well, and her lying about, this YouTube channel and her doing reviews and her claiming that, she was going to, have all this content. But then she says, oh, they're not talking about me, so I'm not going to do a review now. Nobody was talking about you to begin with. Nobody's ever said your name or any of that or use, quote, your likeness. But I just find it funny that you want to be seen. You're the person who wants to get a check. You're the person who wants to be a reality TV star. You're the person who wants the clout. And the moment that you say something that is too far and it's going to be because you want the attention, you want people to respond to you so that way it gets views and it gets attention to your page. But when you say something that's not true, or that's too far that pisses off Martell, now you have a situation. But you want to blame the followers for DMing Martell, but you're not taking yourself accountable for saying the lies in the first place or saying something you're not supposed to in the first place. Like, you should be mature enough to know how to censor yourself at this point. Like, if people have to keep checking you on what you're saying on these Instagram lives, shouldn't that tell you that maybe you should stop? Maybe you should stop what you're trying to, imply or, quote, have people take and run with it. If you're telling lies about your situationship with Martell, if you're continuing to speak on Melody Cherie's name and you're not supposed to, if you're continuing to speak on the Love and Marriage cast when you're not supposed to, what do you expect is going to happen? All you keep proving is that you cannot be on this show because you're too much of a liability. you're too reckless, and you have lacked the professionalism, you've lacked the intelligence, you have lacked, the maturity to, really elevate your platform in a different capacity without having to use Mel's name for attention. But you've specifically stalked her and stalked everything that she's doing, and try to get online, around the same time she is trying to get online, around the time whenever the show comes on or when the show directly goes off, but then claim that you never watch the show. But then if it's people that come for you, then you want to pull, the suicide thing and say, "Oh, I'm suicidal, and this and that, and I've, the show has stressed me out for 3 years, and blah 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 blah." And it's like, okay, but you have no problem going on these lives and making jabs about the show and making jabs about the ex-wife, and trying to make your situationship with Martell seem more than what it is. Like, why weren't you invited to his wine tasting event? If you guys are so serious, why are you nowhere to be found? And why has he still not acknowledged you? But see, this is what happens when people think that because they get a little of attention, that they can just say anything and do anything and there won't be any consequences. And she's going to learn, because she needs to stop going on live and telling lies about herself. That's what it sounds like to me, because if you were truly engaged to Martell, if you were truly in whatever type of relationship with Martell that was beyond friends with benefits or what have you, that was beyond you still being a side chick, even though he's divorced now, you wouldn't have to put on this show for social media. You wouldn't have to put on this show for social media to try to sell this situationship with Martell to everybody. It would speak for itself. He would post you on his page. He would post what you guys are doing. But instead, you had to sneak post him on a live where it looked like you had him in a chokehold and he looked visibly uncomfortable. So there's that. But this whole thing where she's going to try to turn it around and make the followers' fault and say, quote, that they're telling on her and that they're DMing people stuff that she says, but it's directly coming out of your mouth. And if you're not specifying, okay, this is a joke, or if you're not specifying what is, true or not, because nobody can tell the difference anymore, that's on you. Because you've lied so much to the people that they don't know when you're joking anymore. They don't know if you're just saying something to go viral. But they're going to DM Martell right away and say, hey, your side chick's acting up again. And say, hey, your girl said she doesn't watch the show, but she's sitting up here, once again, dragging all these people. So there's that. But it just sounds like she's trying to just at least keep things on decent terms with Martell so she can start, continue to get what little benefit she's getting at this point from him. But it just sounds like she keeps messing things up for herself. She keeps ruining things for herself because she's too reckless with her mouth, and she is trying too hard to sell to her fans that she has more going on with Martell than she actually does, and it keeps coming back to backfire on her. And she's told so many lies over the past couple of years that it's hard to believe anything that she has to say at this point. Literally, people are tuning in to see what lies she's going to tell next and DM it to Martell because he's still not claiming her. So it's just funny to me that, she doesn't want to take any responsibility, but thinks that she's doing something by coming for her followers and coming for them on an Instagram live. The same Instagram live that she'd said a few moments prior about somebody in the comments who was talking about some no good dude. And she was like, oh, well, you need to leave him alone. If he's always going to be a liar, you need to leave him alone. And it's like, well, why won't you leave Martell alone? Isn't he a liar as well? He's lied to you. He's lied to his ex-wife. Like, why are you still entertaining him? Why did you decide to have a child with him? Like, seriously? So there was that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you guys think of, once again, Martell Holt side chick playing victim, trying to make everything, everybody else's fault when it's her own words that come out of her own mouth that's reckless. It's her own words that come out of her own mouth. That's the issue. And she doesn't seem to stop. She doesn't seem to get it. And it's going to have to be to a point to where she's not going to have to do lives at all. She's not going to be able to speak at all at one point because she can't stop lying. And she can't stop exaggerating, and nobody knows when she's telling the truth or when she's lying anymore because she's told so many lies because there's too many receipts of her basically, contradicting herself. So, of course, people are going to DM Martell and whoever else anything that she's saying because none of it adds up. None of it makes sense. None of what she says matches reality. So that's on her. That's her fault. But she should know by now that anything she says or does, people are going to react to it, and people are going to DM Martell to fact check whatever she's saying. So there's that. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.